Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time to uncover the hidden threads that weave our world together. Today, we find ourselves at the precipice of a pivotal moment in modern history, the oil crisis of 1973. This seismic event sent shockwaves across the globe, reshaping the landscape of international relations, economies, and the very fabric of our daily lives. As we delve into the origins of this crisis, let us transport ourselves to the sweltering deserts of the Middle East, where the ancient trade routes of old once pulsed with life. The scent of frankincense and myrrh wafts through the air, carrying with it the whispers of a bygone era. It was here, in the early 20th century, that the modern oil industry began to take shape. The discovery of vast oil reserves in countries such as Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Iraq set the stage for a complex web of alliances and rivalries that would ultimately lead to the oil crisis of 1973. In 1901, the Anglo-Persian Oil Company, led by William Knox D'Arcy, struck oil in Masjed Suleiman, Persia, marking the beginning of the modern oil era in the Middle East. As the demand for oil grew, so did the involvement of Western powers in the region. The 1914 discovery of oil in Bahrain and the subsequent discoveries in Kuwait, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia solidified the Middle East's position as a crucial player in the global oil market. The 1945 meeting between President Franklin D. Roosevelt and King Abdulaziz of Saudi Arabia on board the USS Quincy marked a significant turning point in the relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia. This encounter laid the foundation for a strategic alliance that would shape the course of the oil industry and the fate of the Middle East. In the aftermath of World War II, the global demand for oil skyrocketed, and the major oil companies, including Standard Oil of California, Texaco, and Gulf Oil, began to invest heavily in the region. The 1950s saw a surge in oil production, with Saudi Arabia emerging as the largest producer. However, this period also witnessed growing tensions between the oil-producing nations and the Western powers. The Suez Crisis of 1956, in which Egypt nationalized the Suez Canal, marked a significant turning point in the region's history. The subsequent withdrawal of British and French forces and the rise of Arab nationalism created an environment in which oil-producing nations felt increasingly empowered to challenge Western dominance. The formation of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries in 1960, with its initial members including Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela, further solidified the position of oil-producing nations as a force to be reckoned with. As we navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries that emerged during this period, it becomes clear that the seeds of the 1973 oil crisis were sown decades earlier. The 1967 Six-Day War between Israel and its Arab neighbors further destabilized the region, leading to a surge in oil prices and a growing sense of unease among Western powers. The subsequent embargo on Israeli-bound ships passing through the Suez Canal, imposed by Egypt and other Arab states, had a significant impact on global trade and commerce. The stage was now set for a dramatic unfolding of events as the world struggled to adapt to a new reality. The players were in place: OPEC, the oil majors, and the governments of the United States, Saudi Arabia, and other key nations. As we conclude our examination of the earliest history of the oil crisis of 1973, we find ourselves poised on the threshold of a new era. Join me next as we enter the heart of the crisis, where the primary events and key players will take center stage and the consequences of this seismic shift in the global landscape will be revealed in all their complexity. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, where we're exploring the intricacies of the 1973 oil crisis. The year 1973 marked a pivotal moment in modern history, as the world struggled to adapt to a new reality. In October of that year, the Yom Kippur War broke out between Israel and a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria. The war marked a significant turning point in the region's history as it drew in the great powers and led to a surge in oil prices. In response to the United States' decision to resupply Israel with arms, the Arab oil-producing countries, led by Saudi Arabia, imposed an oil embargo on the U.S. and other countries that supported Israel. The effects of the embargo were immediate and far-reaching. Oil prices skyrocketed, quadrupling from $3 per barrel to over $12 per barrel in a matter of months. The price shock sent shockwaves through the global economy, leading to high inflation, recession, and widespread unemployment. The crisis also had a profound impact on international relations as countries scrambled to secure their oil supplies and mitigate the effects of the embargo. One of the key players in this drama was Saudi Arabia's oil minister, Ahmed Zaki Yamani. A skilled diplomat and strategist, Yamani played a crucial role in negotiating the embargo and coordinating the Arab oil-producing countries' response to the crisis. His efforts helped to galvanize OPEC, which emerged from the crisis as a major force in global energy politics. As the crisis deepened, the United States found itself facing a severe energy shortage. Gasoline lines stretched around city blocks, and fuel rationing became a reality for millions of Americans. The U.S. government responded by imposing price controls and allocating oil supplies to key industries such as transportation and manufacturing. In Europe, the effects of the embargo were equally severe. Countries such as the UK, France, and Germany, which relied heavily on imported oil, found themselves facing significant economic challenges. The crisis led to a renewed focus on energy security, with many European countries investing in alternative energy sources such as nuclear power and coal. The 1973 oil crisis also marked a significant shift in the global balance of power. The Arab oil-producing countries, which had long been dominated by Western powers, emerged from the crisis with newfound influence and authority. OPEC, which had been formed in 1960, became a major force in global energy politics, and its member countries began to exert greater control over their own natural resources. As we explore this pivotal moment in modern history, it's clear that the 1973 oil crisis was a complex and multifaceted event. It involved diplomatic maneuvering, economic pressures, and strategic calculations by key players such as Saudi Arabia, the United States, and other major oil-producing countries. The crisis had far-reaching consequences, shaping the course of international relations, global energy politics, and the world economy for decades to come. Join me as we continue our journey through the annals of time, uncovering the hidden threads that weave our world together. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, where we're exploring the intricacies of the 1973 oil crisis. The years following the 1973 oil crisis were marked by a significant shift in global energy politics. OPEC, which had emerged as a major force during the crisis, continued to play a crucial role in shaping the global oil market. The organization's member countries, led by Saudi Arabia, worked to maintain their influence over the global energy landscape. One of the key consequences of the 1973 oil crisis was the rise of new global powers. Countries such as Japan and South Korea, which had previously relied heavily on imported oil, began to invest in alternative energy sources and diversify their economies. This shift helped to reduce their dependence on foreign oil and enable them to emerge as major economic players in their own right. The 1973 oil crisis also led to a renewed focus on energy security in the United States. The U.S. government responded to the crisis by implementing policies aimed at reducing the country's reliance on imported oil. These efforts included the creation of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, a stockpile of crude oil that could be used in times of emergency. In addition, the U.S. began to invest heavily in domestic energy production, including the development of shale oil and gas reserves. This shift towards domestic energy production helped to reduce the country's dependence on foreign oil and contributed to a significant increase in U.S. energy independence. The aftermath of the 1973 oil crisis also saw a significant increase in international cooperation on energy issues. The International Energy Agency was established in 1974 with the goal of promoting energy security and cooperation among its member countries. The IEA played a crucial role in coordinating international responses to future energy crises and helped to promote greater transparency and cooperation in global energy markets. As we look back on the 1973 oil crisis, it's clear that this pivotal moment in modern history had far-reaching consequences for global energy politics, international relations, and the world economy. The crisis marked a significant shift in the global balance of power, as Arab oil-producing countries emerged with newfound influence and authority. Today, the legacy of the 1973 oil crisis can still be seen in the ongoing struggles over energy security, the rise of new global powers, and the evolving role of OPEC in international energy politics. As we continue to navigate the complexities of the global energy landscape, it's essential to understand the historical context that has shaped our world. In conclusion, the 1973 oil crisis was a complex and multifaceted event that had far-reaching consequences for the world. Its legacy continues to shape our world today, from the ongoing struggles over energy security to the evolving role of OPEC in international energy politics. As we move forward in an increasingly interconnected world, it's essential to remember the lessons of the past and to continue working towards a more sustainable and secure energy future. As the great Saudi oil minister, Ahmed Zaki Yamani, once said, "The Stone Age did not end for lack of stone, and the oil age will end long before the world runs out of oil." These words serve as a reminder that the era of oil is finite, and that our continued reliance on this finite resource poses significant risks to global energy security and the environment. As we look to the future, it's clear that the world must continue to evolve and adapt to new challenges and opportunities. The legacy of the 1973 oil crisis serves as a reminder of the importance of international cooperation, energy security, and sustainable development. By learning from the past and working together towards a common goal, we can build a more secure and sustainable energy future for generations to come. That's all for today's history with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.